4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Welcome back to another episode of the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey.
I'm Snooks.
I'm Lovey. And today you're going to get 7 different steps that you can take to maintain the big mo.
The big
momentum. The big momentum.
I was like, and not moto.
Definitely not moto. Though I like them big. No, we're talking about maintaining the big momentum after you go to a marriage conference or marriage retreat.
Mm-hmm. So, just kind of getting into it.
No, we can't jump in yet. Before you do anything whatsoever, you can be anywhere. You can be doing anything, but you've chosen to actually spend some time with us on the podcast or if you're watching YouTube. So what we want to do is ask you to do a huge favor. We're in this season of growing the conversation, growing the family, so to speak, the Iron Tribe. So if you would each share this podcast with one person that you believe it would truly make a difference for, please do that. But then also go to wherever you're listening to it. And if you can, leave a rating, leave stars, leave comments. That's how we increase discoverability. We want to drive discoverability from the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey back up to the top where it used to be prior to us taking the big, layoff. So that's the big ask. We have nothing really to promote because we just
did a thing.
Tell them about it.
So, as we have been talking about all these months, weeks, whatever days previously, we had our winter ball and marriage conference this past weekend, beginning of marriage week, February 7th and 8th. And when I say we had a time was had. Oh my goodness. We had such a good time. And for those that were able to join us, I know that you all would co-sign what I'm saying. For those that weren't able to, we'll talk about that later. But
there's next year.
There is next year.
February 6th and 7th.
Yeah, because we decided we're just going to kind of keep the party going where this is concerned. It was phenomenal, guys. It really, really was. It was phenomenal. Friday, we danced. We ate good food. We laughed. Met some great people. Just socialized. Had a great time. And like I said, I'm a dancer. I will put a hole in the floor if I'm there long enough, okay? But the Sugar High Band was our music. Amazing. They were so great. Oh, my goodness.
And this
were
one,
great.
Their last tune-up, I don't know if you knew this, but it was their last big, gig before they go out on tour with Club Nouveau.
See, and I didn't know that until after it was over, actually. So, I mean, that just means that they're legit.
Oh, we had people from all over. I mean, we had so many different people, ethnicities, backgrounds, what have you. It was just, and everyone was dancing and laughing and having a great time. And we're not just saying this because it was our event, because
no, we had a really great.
I was behind the scenes being a little frantic, trying to participate, take it in, but then also had to run it as well and checking in with our assistant. She flew in from Michigan to actually work with us. We had couples that flew away as far as Baltimore, Maryland. All the way out to California. We had people drive up from LA. Right. People from Arizona flew in. And these were people that not everyone we knew. These were just, so it's not like they were a part of our network or they caught wind of it and then saw that they had friends that told them about it. So they came in and trusted. And it's been amazing. The results have been absolutely amazing. On day 2, we had speakers. Well, first and foremost, everybody knows it. Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T. He's a friend, and he came in and just
demolished it. I mean, he just
shut it down. I was
just like, okay, I guess the conference is over now, and that was just speaker number 2.
Yeah, and he wanted to go earlier in the day, right? And something he doesn't always do. His wife was there. Deidra was there, and Deidra was captivating.
Yeah.
And people, I think everybody wanted to hear more from Deidra than they wanted to hear from E.T.
Yeah, giving value, just having conversation, making time for people. And everyone just, it was beyond, I couldn't even talk almost when I was speaking with her. I started crying because it was just so touching and so moving to see someone like, you think about them, oh, their caliber of people. And when they just being regular folk, talking to people, being interested in the vendors, oh, what's that? Everyone has these personas about people that
Celebrities
that
or what have you,
make it, celebrity status, and they're just regular people, and
Right.
and they were regular people. He invested in people, not just into us. There was a line, he stood up, he took pictures with everyone, he gave a word to people, just giving of himself. And to me, that's head and shoulders above anything that people pay for money for. It was so genuine, and it was so valued, and it was so, I, again, have no words for it, but my respect and admiration for him just skyrocketed because I sat back and I just watched him interact. And it wasn't for show. It wasn't like he was trying to get accolades or anything like that. He saw a need in each individual person, made it about that person, and did his thing. It was incredible.
It was Holy Spirit filled, and it wasn't just Ronna that was crying. There were grown men that were emotional and talking to him, and he picked up on it and was able to let the people just have their cathartic moment, getting things out, and just thanking him for being there and pouring into their marriages. That was just ET. And I'm gonna tell you, there's been a lot. So the Dickersons did their thing, the Mahamas did theirs. Eva got down, and then we tore it up too. I'm just gonna say we did our thing, but it was great, and the feedback that we've been receiving ever since. And this is not just pumping up our thing, but the feedback that we got was that it was transformational for so many marriages.
It was transformational for so many marriages, but also necessary. So many people needed this, and people were saying that we needed this, we needed this, we needed this. So it gave us license to be like, okay, we are in the right spot. We are going to do the thing. Or, I have had imposter syndrome before regarding my space, my place, how MIC was going to grow and affect and help people. But after this weekend, just seeing how bringing folks together, not necessarily they just coming to see Lovey and I speak, but being able to bring folks together and have it in the space and make it safe and make it filled with just joy. People were happy to be there.
And the Winrows, in between everybody, they had everybody cracking up, laughing. They were so funny.
Yeah.
And caring. And it was just, I just got to give a special shout out.
To Swannies?
No, I got to give a shout out to Sandra Ray. We have an assistant, and she's been my assistant or our assistant for the last 3 years. I've known her for probably the last 5 years because we belong to ET's Old Breathe University community. And Sandra had a business, and she was a virtual assistant, and she also has Get It Done coaching, where she helps people basically get it done. She's great when it comes to being an accountability coach. And I knew her for that, and I knew that I needed accountability. So, she offered her services, and I took her up on it, and I trust her. And she flew out from Michigan and just kept me on task. And it was great. And it was the first time we met physically. We had never met each other physically, never been in the same room, never been in the same place. It's always been, for the last 5 years that we've known each other, it's really been via Zoom. Or the phone, and it was just magical. And my family loved her. I mean, she's known Ronna for just about as long, but it was just absolutely amazing. I just want to say, Sandra, thank you. Right. Thank you for what you do for Married Into Crazy, and for looking out for us and doing your thing. And if anybody needs an accountability coach, if you need somebody that's going to keep you on task, look up Get It Done Coaching by Sandra Ray.
Yeah, and on that. Just kind of when we talk about giving shouts out, the Light Christian Church, Pastor First Lady Swanigan. I mean, they believed enough in our vision to be like, okay, no more
excuses.
Setting aside, excuses or whatever. We're gonna get the particulars, You have a location. We just got to work out all the particulars,
the details and all that.
The details, but they trusted our vision to be in their spot. If you are in the Sacramento area and you are looking for a place to have an event, the Light Christian Church, it's not like, oh, you just go in, oh, here's the social hall and the sanctuary. No, they have an event center. It's amazing. The staff was great. They worked with us. So I just wanted to make sure that we gave them a shout out too, because it was amazing. Everything was amazing. Everything went well.
And I think the biggest shout out that we need to give, honestly, that if I could scream it from mountaintops, would be to all the couples. All the couples that showed up Friday night and just let their hair down, even if we were bald like me, and just danced and danced and danced and danced. You know, there were people all over. There were pockets. If they weren't on the dance floor, they were dancing on the side or they were dancing in the back. And it was just, dance floor stayed packed. Again, the Sugar High Band did an amazing job of keeping everyone engaged and sang songs that everybody identified with. And it was just amazing. But for all those couples that were there, you know, whether it was the 2-day event or if they just came Saturday only, to invest in your marriage and to show up and be transparent, vulnerable, and willing to work on your relationship. Mm-hmm. There were people there that were like, yeah, I'm coming to support. And it was more of a, we want to support, you know, Ernie and Rana, or we want to support. And then afterwards, to Rana's point, they were like, we needed this. Didn't even know that we needed this. Mm-hmm. They identified some blind spots that needed to be worked on. Right. And that in itself lets us know that, you know what, this is good work. This is worthwhile work. Mm-hmm. And we're excited about what's to come for the remainder of the year. But anytime you go to one of these events, whether it's a retreat or a convention, even if you've gone to like business conventions or what have you, or, you know, if you're a podcaster, you go to those, everything's great for the first day or two coming out of it.
Yeah. The
goal is to maintain momentum throughout not just the next several days or months, but through your life, to really say, okay, what is that thing? What got us excited, and what can we do to bring that into our daily lives? And that's what we want to talk about. 7 different things that you can do, 7 different ways that you can actually take whatever it is that you've learned or that you've been exposed to and stretch that out over the remainder of the year until the next time. And you want to eventually get to the point where you don't need these events. I mean, as much as we're putting them on and we want to see everyone, I would love it.
I think people will always need them.
You know,
just because it's a refresher. You get to be around other couples that like to be around their spouse. You get to have fun. It's like being around like-minded people. We want to be around like-minded couples, kind of like we talk about with Tribe. Proverbs. Yeah, Iron Tribe. So maybe the way you're saying it, needed to like save my marriage,
right,
or something like that. Because not everyone who goes to a retreat or a marriage conference is looking to have their marriage saved. They go for the reasons that I just said. I like to be around couples that want to build on their marriage and make it whatever, just make it perfect or great, whatever the word is that you want to use. But
I know
that's important to do that. And it keeps you, I won't say it keeps you going. That's the thing. You want to be able to keep the pace, keep the momentum, because we hit the ground running hard, like Lovey, kind of to Lovey's point. When we come home, like the first day, we talk about it. We're just discussing everything, you know.
Mm-hmm. We're doing Z and crazy. We're having that zealousness, right? We're super excited. Mm-hmm. There's all this enthusiasm about it, but we want to keep that going. And to your point, though, I do have to point out that there were like several couples two that just immediately came to mind, and there's several more that were saying, we feel like our marriage is good, but it felt so amazing to be around other couples that love marriage too. Mm-hmm. It was rejuvenating and exhilarating to the standpoint of like, yeah, we want to do this again. And we want to find these people. There were people that were exchanging numbers like, hey, we need to get together, because they saw how much love was being poured into each other. Like, we want to be surrounded by couples like this more often, not just once a year.
And that's one of the things that kind of that you use to keep that momentum going. Couples that you met while you were there, and then you guys reliving the excitement together, and just, you know, you found a new friend. So you know how that is in the beginning of whatever, any relationship, you're excited about it. And So now you and your spouse, you got someone else who's also excited, and so you guys are doing things together. Meeting up, rehashing the conference and the things that you learned, the new tool or what have you. When you take your car in to the shop, my car is running great, but I need my maintenance. I need to make sure that my oil is refilled and recapped, and these are what these type of events are.
Yep. So let's get into 7 things. So here's the 7 things that we've identified that can make a huge difference for making sure that you keep that momentum going, that you kind of keep the party going, so to speak, in a D.L. Hewley way. And the first thing I'm going to say is, you need to come together and just kind of debrief. Mm-hmm. Talk about, okay, what did we see? What did we like? And comparing notes. Let's call it that. Comparing notes, like, what did you like about it? What stood out to you? And having that conversation, because in those moments, you get to relive it to a certain extent.
Mm-hmm. But it's important, though, to make sure that don't wait a week later and do it. You got to do it while it's still fresh. So maybe the first couple of days, make sure that you're getting into it and finding like the aha moments. What was it for you? What was your aha moment? And, oh, yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, blah, 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 whatever. Kind of debriefing like that together. But don't, like I said, try not to wait a week later, because you want to make sure that it's fresh and that it's new.
No, agreed. And so that brings us to the second thing. Identify a habit, a single habit, one thing. Even though there might be like 3, 4 things that stood out to you, like, oh, we need to do this and this and this and this and this. It may not sound like a lot when you're like labeling it or calling it out, but the creation of any new habit is pretty difficult. Mm-hmm. So of the things that you identify that you thought were really cool, pick one that you can both focus on and say, this is the thing that it's almost like the one thing, right? The book by Gary Keller.
Yeah.
What's the one thing such that by doing this one thing makes everything else either unnecessary or much easier? So of all the things that you said that this was amazing, these different points, pick the one habit, the one thing that if by doing this will make getting to these other things that much easier, or just get us to a place to where we're going to still want to do these other things, but identify that one thing and implement it.
And make sure you stick to one, because you know how it is when there's too many and you're like, oh, but I liked all of them, so I want to do all of them. And then you try to do all of them in 3 days. You're so overwhelmed because you haven't hit all the points or did all the things that you said you wanted to do. So just pick the one thing and make it a small thing. It doesn't have to be a big gargantuan type of thing. Get it done and make it that habit, and then you can move on to the next.
And schedule it. Yeah. It doesn't need to be organic. Like, oh, if it's not organic, then it's not real.
Yeah.
That's some BS.
And because honestly, if we're waiting for organic to happen, sometimes it doesn't, because we'll never have room or space for it.
It's funny. You talk about the phrase like organic. It's got to be organic. Let me explain something about organic if you haven't really given it much thought.
It takes time, right?
It does. But how does it become organic? You have to, I'm just going to be honest. So what's organic? A garden. Like we grew a garden, right? And it's organic. But I had to actually go online, look at the schedule of seasons to find out what plants will actually grow during a certain time. Then I had to go over to the nursery and buy the specific plants. I had to schedule a time to go over there that was convenient to actually, go over to get the plants, buy all the materials, buy the tools, get the what's it called, the beds, the flower beds, get that built up, everything set up, the soil, all that, build an irrigation system, get all that set up, plant the seeds, and then get on a schedule for watering and put a timer on there for all that to happen.
Yeah.
What about that was organic?
Because you had to take the time to do it.
All of it.
Schedule it, yeah.
And sit there and create a routine and so forth. What was organic was the fruit that it bore, which was like the vegetables and everything that we ate and we incorporated into our meals. We're like, oh, and you're like, oh, this is so organic. But it took a lot of work behind it. Right. Same thing for our relationships. For the things that you want to do, it's going to take some work, some schedule, some routine, some processes to put it in place before it ever truly feels organic.
Yep.
It'll become organic and natural after repetition.
I was about to say, yeah, you got to build that muscle.
Yep, actually build that up.
Yep. And so then the other part too, and this kind of, I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand with it, what at least getting a habit is like set a plan, you know, what is the plan for these new habits? How are we going to implement them? How are we going to be accountable to them? How are we going to check the progress of them? Stuff like that. So get a plan.
Well, we haven't talked about it in a very long time, but in dealing that growth plan for your marriage, it needs to be measurable, right? It's basically, it needs to be a SMART goal.
Like a SMART plan. Mm-hmm.
Or a SMART plan, right? So it's got to be specific, measurable, actionable. What's the R?
I just know the time driven.
I'm gonna say reasonable and time bound.
Yeah,
there
you go, reasonable.
But when I say reasonable, not something that's going to necessarily be like, oh, I can do that easily with
But it's not so far fetched that it's just going to kill the whole thing. So
no, but have that plan that you can both commit to. Mm-hmm. There's nothing worse than actually getting all excited, and then you create this grand plan, and you pick the one habit, and then all of a sudden it's like, I can't stick to that.
Yeah.
Something that you can actually agree to, and then you're checking in with each other as well. And that's like the fourth thing, right? Is being able to be accountable to each other. Mm-hmm. And actually, one thing I love is I already knew it was happening. People told me like, oh, I met this so-and-so. I'm not going to say names, but I met so-and-so, and they're like really cool. And you know what? We have a lot in common. So we exchange numbers, and we're going to stay accountable. We're going to like really just check in with each other. Find another couple that you can be accountable to and with.
Yeah. Because, a lot of couples, they talk about how hard marriage is. You want to, in marriages, it's not like easy. It just depends on how much work are you willing to put into it. So that doesn't mean that you have to go through it by yourself. You do want to, again, going back to the iron tribe, you want to surround yourself with people who are like-minded and who are going to hold you accountable to your marriage, to the things that you say you're going to do. I've heard that Terrell is, he is not the guy that you want to have as an accountability coach if you're not serious about what it is that you're doing, because he will hold you accountable, like for real. So, but you want that. If this is what I say I want someone who's not going to be like, oh, okay, that's going to let me kick the can down the road, so. No,
exactly. And when Eva was talking about, finances and credit and building out your life, with intention, one of the things she talked about, the people that she coaches, she holds them accountable. She's like, I'm not your coach if you just want somebody that's going to cheer for you and not hold you accountable. Right. She had a very young couple that was there that attended the conference as well. They were super young, and got their credit up to above 800, and now they're buying properties. And this was a couple that had some challenges, that had horrible credit to begin with. There was accountability that was built into that, and now they're out teaching other individuals. Yeah. And so I thought it applies to so many different areas in our life, and you have to figure out that it's worth doing.
Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just going. That
it's worth doing. And then when you're doing all of this, expect the challenges.
Yeah.
Expect the challenges and know that you need to continue learning, and there's going to be setbacks, right? That's probably number 5. It's just knowing that you're going to have setbacks. Expect that you're going to continue to learn, and I love one of my friends, CB Phillips. CB says, if I'm not winning, I'm learning.
Mm-hmm. But kind of not even just going back to the learning part, just being in community, get into some type of marriage community. There was MIC, obviously us, and there was 2 other marriage groups marriage communities that were also part of the conference, and we're shouting them out. It's like, get involved, get in a group type of setting. Married folks need support too,
Absolutely.
Need support too. And you may even need a marriage counselor or coaches. Hello, here we are. But just saying, don't be, I don't want to say prideful, but don't feel bad. Don't be ashamed or embarrassed that maybe you do need some additional assistance or help or something, because that leads into what you're going to say about continually growing and learning.
No, true. And look, she mentions coaching. She mentions therapy. There's levels to this. Mm-hmm. And if there are times where you feel like, I'm not ready to talk to somebody, or I get it. I was there once as well, particularly when during year 4, when she asked for a divorce. I was very hesitant to go and talk to some therapist, but it paid all the difference. It paid dividends big time. But I will add this. There might be other avenues, and I'm just going to shout out Raise the Bar. If you go to our website, to marriedintocrazy.com, and you go to our coaching tab, you're going to see that there's one that's called Raise the Bar, which is a self-paced program that you can do from the comfort of your home or in your phone or wherever you are. There's a lot of different things that you can do that has a workbook in it that you can sit there and do self-paced. And it's not like you have to put in a lot of work. Not a lot of work in watching it, but more of the work is having the conversations with your spouse so you can kind of work through this. It's almost like a DIY with us guiding you through it. There's that option as well. So there's things that you can do, even if it's just slightly pushing you out of your comfort zone. And it's going to build up that ability or that mindset to where it's like, you know what, this was good. We got past this. Now I'm ready to actually sit down with somebody. But start there. Take baby steps, and Raise the Bar is one of the things that you can do.
And being part of the community. I mean, if you feel like, oh, this was great, but I don't want to wait a whole nother year, find another conference.
Absolutely. Find another conference.
Yeah.
There's a lot that's happening depending upon where you're located.
Yeah, we're going to one in April, and we just had ours, and we're going to another one,
And not because we're facilitating. We're going because we want to go and be around like-minded couples. And it's us, getting an injection of love and laughter and life with other couples that want to be there and grow their marriages as well.
Right.
And so this sounds like, oh, you're giving me all these checklists and things I need to do. And it's...
No, these are...
Well, but in the midst of all this, don't forget about your love life.
Yeah. keep the party going. We had a basket called Keep the Party Going on Friday night. It was so cute. It was 2 wine glasses, a bottle of wine, some chocolate, and some candles. And the person that won, they left a little bit early. I was like, what y'all? He said, we're going to keep the party going. Okay, keep the party going,
I heard that.
Which, keep the romance alive. Don't. And here's the other part of this. All the things that we've said, there is fluid, right? Don't get bogged down with, oh, I got to check here. Check. Don't make everything be about checking boxes. You want to be present. So keep the romance alive. Keep it going.
Yeah. Insert a surprise here and there. I think we mentioned a while back that I took Snooks on a surprise date night. Something as simple as that. If you want to plan something, just take turns. Okay, I'm going to plan the date night. You plan the date night. And go back and forth. There's another one, March 8th. We have another secret surprise date night that I'm taking her on. I'm not giving her any details. And so, but that's fun. It keeps the spice there.
It keeps me excited too, as long as he's not telling me to grab some tennis shoes or some hiking shoes.
That's coming.
The
weather turns.
I think we'll be all right.
She had a great time last time we went hiking, which was years ago.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
But then she had a great time. If you remember when we went zip lining and all that in Mexico, she had a great time. But the last thing I'm going to say, number 7, the 7th step is most likely the most important one.
For us. And
we believe in it so much that we would ask you to consider it as well. And that's pray to center your marriage spiritually.
I mean, I think we've shared before that every day we say a prayer. We say our prayer, and we also do our mantra together. And that, like Lovey said, centers us, helps us stay centered,
Because some of these things are hard. I mean, what may be easy to want is to varying degrees, right? Depending upon who you are and what you're going through and the situation that's at hand. But prayer is the great equalizer. It's that direct connection. You got that bat line directly to our Creator, and stay centered and saying, God, I just need your help in doing this. I really want to do this. And the more you do that, believe me, it benefits you, it benefits your relationship, and it benefits everyone around you. So take a moment to consider praying as well to center your marriage spiritually.
Yes.
And I think those are the things. And if you put that on wash, rinse, repeat, and keep doing it over and over and over again, and like Snook said, go to the next one. Once you go to a conference, you should be thinking about, ooh, and when's the next one?
Yeah. I feel like that because they're big parties.
we're looking forward to it. We're going to be up in Lake Tahoe having a great time with CMCR. And if you want to check that one out, if you're out here in this area, look up cmcrsacramento.org. And that's one that we're going to be attending. But there's a lot of them wherever you may be.
Yeah, just take a look and look it up. And again, don't feel like you can only go if you have challenges in your marriage, and if you have challenges, there's no reason for you to go. There's always a reason to go. I mean, be open-minded, be willing to learn, and have some fun.
Yep, absolutely. So thank you for spending some time with us. Again, share this with a friend. Go back, look at the catalog. We have podcasts going all the way back to 2018. I will say that 2018 ones sound very different than the ones we have now. I was like, is it mic on? Is it mic on? We had one mic going back and forth between each other, trying to figure it all out. It's some of the best material as well, because you get to hear all the mistakes and the laughter and, taking ourselves very lightly.
But also check out our Facebook page and our Instagram page if you want to see some of the pictures from the event this past weekend. So
yeah, great time. And put it on your calendars. February 6th and 7th, 2026. It will be in Sacramento. Venue to be determined. We hope we can go back to the same place, but venue to be determined. We're already negotiating with the band. I've told the same band that we want you back. Everybody was like, you got to keep that band.
Yeah.
And just put some songs in rotation. They're absolutely amazing. Sugar High Band, thank you so much. Melissa Corona, Ivan Johnson, and the entire crew, thank you so much for doing what you did to really enlighten and spice up the life for all those people that were there. And till the next time.
Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.